Good morning, Tiffany. How are you? Yeah, right. Thank you for joining us. I'm waiting for a couple more peeps to jump in and we will get started. Where are you driving to?
I'm riding.
Wait, one more time?
Oh no, I'm riding, going to a car auction actually.
Oh, nice. You gonna buy one or are you just like watching?
A little of both, depending
She
on
said
what's
a little
there.
bit. I'm gonna a little bit buy a car and a little bit watch people buy cars.
It depends
Great.
on what's there.
Okay, I can appreciate that. You're like, I'm only buying if the right one is there.
Yes.
I love it. Okay, sweet. Let me give me just 1 minute and we will get started as soon as I get a couple more peeps in here. Okay, there were a couple people that I know wanted to make sure we're in here. What do I find the body BBAs and buyers? Okay. Gar forms. Group. Well, Tiffany, you and I may just be hanging out for a little bit. Were you the one on Monday?
What'd you say about Monday?
Yeah, were you in the buyer consult one on Monday by any chance? Because I know that you were in at least one on Monday.
Yeah, I wasn't in that one.
Okay, cool. This will be really good stuff then. And I'll show y'all where to find all the documents.
Okay.
All right. Good morning. Uh-oh, Mycia, where is she? Hey. All right, let's see if we have a couple more peeps coming in.
Hey, Katie, can I ask you a question?
Always, what's going on?
So I have a potential buyer and they're looking for land.
Okay.
And I went on FMLS and I see like there's price per acre on there. Do they have to get the whole acreage or can they say, hey,
No. So basically, the price per acre is a great way to compare parcels of land to others. Now, of course, floodplain versus not floodplain, Main Street versus tucked in a neighborhood, there's going to be a lot of aspects of land that make them different. And yet, the price per acre is automatically calculated by the number of acreage of parcels as well as that price that they're selling it for. So it just gives you a good idea if the going rate in an area is like 400,000 for an acre and you see it's listed at like 800,000 an acre, you need to be like, why is this twice as expensive? So that may mean that there's already a poured, what's the word I'm looking at, like foundation on it, maybe already been cleared, everything else isn't cleared yet in the area, but no, you definitely don't need the whole acre. It's just giving you a comparable price.
okay, so like when they sell it as, I probably should just contact the agent to see or the listing agent to see like, hey, my buyer only, like this property's 12 acres. Could I just ask the listing agent, my buyer only wants 5 acres? Can we negotiate that?
Oh,
Yeah.
I see. So it would depend on a couple things with that parcel. Some things can't be split up because it won't have the road frontage that it needs. So I have a parcel of land in Brookhaven that's listed for sale. It's 0.6 acres, and all you really need right there to put a house on is 0.2 or 0.3. So you could definitely split it up and have houses built on it. The problem is that it's only 140 feet of road frontage, and then I don't know how many feet it goes back, but it's 140 up front, and the zoning requires at least 75 foot for each parcel. So if I split it, it's only 70 and 70, if that makes sense. And so it's literally 10 feet too short to split that into 2 parcels. So it depends on the shape. It depends if that seller is willing to split it up, because you would have to get a survey done, go through the county. It's actually, there's a lot of work for splitting up a parcel, if it even can be done. So great question. Oops, someone's trying to get in. Great question. That would very much be ask the agent what the seller would be willing to do, kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah, good question. Beth, I'm so sorry. I don't know how long you were waiting. I just noticed that you were in the waiting room, so I'm sorry. Beth? Okay, she's here. Great. Okay, perfect. So a couple announcements for y'all before we get started on the.
I'm sorry, Katie. I'm fine. I'm sorry about that. Hey,
No,
I couldn't get my
totally
buy.
I apologize. I don't know how long you were in the waiting room, so I'm sorry.
You're fine.
So a couple announcements. On Monday, we're in our groups, and I know that I think all 3 of y'all are real good about being on the Monday ones when you can, even if Tiffany's on mute and she's sitting at her desk at work. It's awesome. So Monday for Group A, we're going over a couple things that are different from Group B at 1 p.m. and Group C at 2 p.m. So perfect. I appreciate you ladies being on. We have team meeting Wednesday. It's only an hour though. It's normally 11:30 to 1. This week it's only 12 to 1, and it is with Mo Anderson. So on Red Day, when we were raffling off all those things, Mo gave us an hour. And so she's gonna come on. She's like our cultural icon for KW. So that will be a nice Zoom. I will send a link for that. And then there is no Saturday coaching next week because it's 4th of July weekend. And it's specifically 4th of July. So please go out, have fun with your friends and family. And yes. So, okay, fabulous. Any wins from this weekend? Does anyone, I know Mycia has a new buyer. Anything going on with y'all, Beth and Tiffany?
I have a listing that I'll have a listing that goes on the market Thursday. Yay!
Is that the Jennifer Lane one?
It is. Yes. Yes. So.
Cool. Good. Good.
Yeah,
I'm excited for you.
Thank
That's awesome.
you.
Hey man, better late than never. You know what I mean? I have one coming up this next week that I've been talking to him about this for I met him 6 months ago. So better late than never. Okay, perfect. So just a quick reminder of a couple things that I think are good to keep in the back of your mind. First of all, 1, how are y'all answering your phones? And the reason I say that is both from a client perspective as well as an agent perspective. Anyone that's calling into you, that you want to make sure that they know, 1, you're in real estate. So even if I'm calling you about real estate, let's make sure that that they know that you are in real estate in case they have a need. And then 2, just from a professionalism standpoint. And the reason I say that is because I know that I have an out of area number, and yet I'll always answer any calls with, this is Katie Staples with Keller Williams, just so that they know they've reached the right person if they've intended on reaching me. And just from a professionalism standpoint, when people say hello, I'm like, hi, this is Katie Staples with Keller Williams. I'm looking for the listing agent of 123 Main Street. They're like, oh, okay, yes, that's me. And I'm like, okay. So just fun fact, keep that in mind. The second is, are y'all doing your sphere care calls? So are you keeping up with the peeps in your database? Even if it's not about real estate, let's keep checking in with our peeps, making sure that they're good. Keep yourself top of mind with them, foster those relationships. Are you posting on social media consistently? Even if it's not necessarily real estate related, are you engaging with other people? Because the algorithms that use the engagements that you have, whether you like heart or haha, their statuses and things like that, that determines how often you pop up on their Facebook feed. And then lastly, are you wearing your name tag everywhere? Who was it? It was someone that I had Tiffany, 1 second. It was someone, here she is. It was someone that I had a one-on-one coaching call with on Friday. I think it was Suzanne. She was wearing her name tag to the dentist, and she wasn't even doing any work. She was just, being great about that. And the dental hygienist said, "Hey, are you a real estate agent?" And she said, "Yes, I am. Do you have any questions, or how can I help you at all?" She said, "Well, I'm going to be buying a house soon, blah, blah, blah." So now she has a lead literally from wearing her name tag to the dentist. So I think that that's awesome. Let's wait for Alessio to get on. Hey, Alessio, good morning.
Good morning.
Hey. Okay, perfect. So you came in just in time. We're going to start the buyer consult, setting up the appointment portion of things. So I get it. It's COVID. Still can't have clients into the office during the month of July. And yet you can still do, if you feel comfortable and your client feels comfortable, you can still do socially distanced face-to-face buyer consultations, maybe at like the outdoor portion of Starbucks or something like that. Whenever we do come back into the office, I'm going to screen share with y'all so that you can see how to sign up for the conference rooms, because that's really the best place to have them, in my opinion. However, stand by, that's not going to be until at least August, I think. So I'm going to screen share with y'all. If you're on your phone, just slide it all the way to the left so that you can see the screen. So here we are on the My KW page. Can y'all see that? Perfect. So when you click on My Market Center intranet, it's very similar to if you were signing up for Agent on Duty. You go the same route. Wait for it. Okay. Market Center, resources, and then here's your Agent on Duty schedule, which, by the way, I'm so proud that all of these people that took it this week are in productivity coaching, and next week there is the office isn't staffed this day. So if we were staffed, there would be a shift available. If the office isn't staffed, then you don't get the calls, you don't come in for it. So I need to tell Chelsea, but all these people are PC agents, and I'm so proud of everyone. So to get to the conference rooms, they're on the same page as the Agent on Duty. The large conference room is the only one that's open right now, but again, it's not for clients, it's for teams that are meeting. The medium one is right across from Kristen's office, closer to where the kitchen is. And then the small one is across from the MCA office. So you would click on that, and then it's not allowing you to book anything right now just because we're not having any in the office. But this is where you would sign up for an hour or however long you would want it to be. I would say for a buyer consult, err on the conservative side and do at least an hour and a half. I would aim for it to really only be about an hour, just to keep your peeps engaged and things like that. So that is how you sign up for the conference room. The best practice is to have them speak to a lender before they even come in with you. Why do you think that would be?
That way, at least you know they're ready to purchase.
Exactly. One, hey, where are we in the timeline? Are you right now buyers? Like, are we going out this weekend kind of thing? Or are we getting some stuff in gear? Like, when's your lease up? Things like that. So perfect. Time is great. Beth, what were you going to say?
No, that's just what I was going to say, is see where they are in the timeline and make sure that, you don't want to be taking, because I have made the mistake of taking people out who were not ready, and you're showing them all these homes and then they're just not ready.
Perfect. Yeah, so it's a great way to pre-qualify for a couple different reasons. So time obviously is really important. That's going to be anything from do we have the money saved up? Do we need a couple more months of money? Or, hey, did I get a raise last year? Did I make more money in 2019? Yet I haven't filed my 2019 taxes. So for a time, it's not just, are you ready to buy right now? It's, do we need to get our ducks in a row to have the best purchasing power? And then the other one is going to be, there's a chat. Okay, perfectly. So the other one is going to be credit and things like that, getting our ducks in a row. Do we need to have them speak with a lender so that we know the strategies to be best prepared? I'm going to be really transparent with y'all. I was speaking with my lender back in like March of last year, knowing I wasn't going to buy until about August, because we had to get some ducks in a row for sure to be able to get this house. So, so perfect. Okay. Once you're there in the buyer consult, it's very, very exciting. You definitely want to keep them engaged. I really encourage it to be an hour, maybe a little bit less. If they're very high C and have a lot of questions, okay, great. Let's make sure that they definitely are comfortable whenever they leave. And yet we also don't want to overwhelm them with too much information, right? It's kind of like in a listing appointment. You want to get in, get the listing appointment signed with all the confidence in the world that they love you and they know that you're going to do a great job, and not leave and have them be like, well, maybe I need to think about this, because you presented them with just overload, right? So there's a couple things I want to go over. The first is the questionnaire that I use. So let me open that up, because mine is really good. I like it. Now, this is your business. Y'all build whatever questionnaire you might want. That being said, mine is short enough for me to get a really good idea. And I also recognize that sometimes their preferences change after you show them a house or two. So I really want the main questions answered, the big nuts and bolts. However, in the Facebook group, I've uploaded this one in the files along with Dory's that she has, very, very specific. And then Erin Olivier is the #2 buyer's agent in our office. She's with the Barnes Young team. Amazing buyer's agent. She closed 36 deals last year. And so she has a great one that she shared with us as well that I put on the Facebook group in the files. So of course, I want to know all the main information, right? Buyer, the date of our consult, their phone number, their email. And then it's nice to know occupation. These are things you should already have known from your pre-qualifying conversation or however you know them. And then the next part, I want to ask them about their family. You have to be fairly sensitive, depending on how well you know them, right? As to what questions you're going to ask, because as agents, we have to adhere to the fair housing laws. So the way that I get around asking, do you have any kids, is who will be living in the home? So besides children and answering that question, what else might I gain from asking who will be living in the home?
So you know how many rooms?
Yes. Okay, good. So one, I want to know how many bedrooms you're going to need, definitely. Who else besides kids may be in there?
Parents,
Mm-hmm.
in-laws.
Yep, perfect. So sometimes the parents of the buyers may not be living in there right now, and yet a year or two down the road, mom may be coming to live with them. That's definitely an entirely different kind of floor plan sometimes.
I'm
So
very familiar.
Yeah. Speaking of people whose in-laws may be coming to live, so yeah, we want to know who's going to be living in the home, not just right this second, but also in the future. Any pets? That's going to be really important for mostly backyard space. And then I also want to know, how can I make this a win for your family? So that's a little bit about family. It's also about the transaction as a whole. That is where I'm going to find out, do you want a deal? You know, are you going to be looking for something where it's great bones, but you can fix it up cosmetically and then get a lot of equity? Are you looking for something perfectly turnkey where you just put your stuff in and you go and it's easy peasy? Are you looking for great communication from your agent? What does that look like for you? So I want to make sure that I'm always really cognizant of how I'm going to win with these buyers. The next thing is make sure that you have secondary questions ready to go. Now, depending on how they would answer these prep for buying questions, I need to have a secondary question in mind. And so the reason I don't have the secondary questions written down here is because they could give me 5 different answers. I need to have a secondary question ready. And so this is where it's like a fine wine, get better with time, right? You may not know the secondary questions to ask at first, and yet as you do buyer consults, you're going to get better and better at it. So give me 1 second. I want to make sure that we're not missing anything. Okay, perfect. All right, great. So have you bought or sold a home before? Why would that be a good question to ask?
Maybe because if they have purchased a home in the past, they have the experience. So there's probably some things that they want, some wants, and maybe some things that they do not want.
Yeah. So you hit it with experience. I need to know, do y'all know what you're doing a little bit because you did it 5 years ago? Or is this brand new territory and I really need to take the time to make sure that you're comprehending everything, you're really comfortable with everything, etc. I also have some lenders that I really suggest for first-time home buyers versus lenders that are a little bit more high D, very quick, and yet the communication is not at that C level or that first-time home buyer level, if that makes sense. The other thing is, if they've bought a home before, maybe that's the one that they have to sell. And I'm real keen on getting a buy-sell transaction because that's 2. So Mama's a big fan. Do you need to sell a property in order to buy? Are you currently in a lease? When does it end? If they say, yes, I am currently in a lease, what would be the next question besides when does it end? If it doesn't end for 6 months, what could be something else you could ask them? You only got 4 people in here today, so all y'all gonna have to answer. I'm excited. Bueller? So if it doesn't end for 6 months, maybe they want to buy right now. I want to know, have you looked into what it takes to break your lease? Some people have to pay out the entire lease. Some landlords make it so, okay, you're going to lose your security deposit in 1 month's rent. Well, that's fine, because if I'm okay losing my security deposit, I've already paid it, it's already out of my bank account. If your lease ends in, if the 60 days that you have to give notice ends in August and you buy in August, your monthly mortgage payment doesn't start until October. So they can live for free for the month of September, and that helps to ease the pain of losing a month's rent. Does that make sense? So you want to know all their options in terms of time and money. How soon do you want to be in the new home? Have you arranged financing yet? Should already know that one by hopefully getting them in touch with the lender prior to this appointment. And then therefore you can touch base with the lender so that you kind of have an idea of questions 6, 7, and 8. Do you know what price range is comfortable for you? And by comfortable, that doesn't always mean what they can max out at. Someone may be able to buy 350. Oops, let me let this person in there. Perfect. Is Sean with us now? Perfect. Hey, Sean. So some people may be pre-approved up to 350, and yet their monthly mortgage payment that they're comfortable with is really only 325 as a purchase price. So let's make sure that we understand, where is the lender allowing you to go and where are you comfortable going? Do you have enough funds in your account for 1% earnest money? So this is super important because not a lot of buyers understand that there are some 4-digit total expenses that are added up right when you go under contract first thing. And I'm going to show y'all the timeline chart that I use to show the buyers the steps of the transaction, and we'll go over the price involved in each of those things. So we need to make sure that they are really knowledgeable about, hey, understand your down payment, your closing costs, all of that. That's not wired until the day of or day before closing. And yet you will have over $1,000, sometimes well over $1,000 worth of expenses right off the bat in the first week. What percentage would you feel comfortable putting down? That's really more of a lender question, and yet this can help you just make sure that they know you do have to speak with a lender, make sure that they're knowledgeable about the money that's coming out of their pocket. Is it available, or will it be available by the time they close? And make sure that they truly have talked to a lender. Oh, well, the lender told me that we could do 3.5, but we're cool with putting down 10. Cool, you really did talk to a lender then. So this is more a temperature check for me. Questions about the prep for buying questions? What you got? Hearing none? So location, this is super important, right? One of the best things to ask is, where do you work? And why might that be the best question to ask first?
People don't want to always buy too far from where they live. You don't want a huge commute.
Exactly. Commute's going to be huge, regardless of if you're telecommuting or not. Okay, that's going to be a really, really important thing. Alessio, you unmuted. Was that what you were going to say?
Yeah, basically, I was going to say, just that way you can get an idea, maybe if they want to live somewhere near their job.
Yeah, yeah. The other thing is, if they work in Midtown and they don't want condo life, they want a single family detached, they're either shoving out a pretty penny to be close to Midtown, or they're going to have a longer commute and be OTP. The other thing, just as important as commute, is, what do you enjoy doing? I like hiking and kayaking. I'm 15 minutes from Stone Mountain. I can have my kayak in the water in 20 minutes from the time I load it up. So that's really important to me. I can't be downtown. That's not an easy commute there for me. So our school's important. Another great way to get around the "do you have kids" question. Our school's important. I would say, of all my people that I've had without children currently, half of them say it's not important for us right now, yet it is important for resale whenever we do go to sell this in 3 to 5 years. And that's when I'm like, oh my gosh, you're so smart. I'm so glad I have such amazing buyers, because they understand one day I'm going to be selling this house. If I'm in the worst rated elementary school district in the area, that's going to be a tougher sell. My audience is going to be lower. So I can very much appreciate when people ask questions like that, or have answers like that. What amenities would you like nearby? What are certain things that people may want right up the road from their home? Where are my peeps at?
Grocery stores, gym, school.
Good. Yeah, actually, you hit the three that I was thinking of. Those I want restaurants and fast food. Beth, what were you going to say?
I said church.
Yep. Okay, good. Sure. Oh gosh, that shows how not proud of me my mother would be. So schools, do you want your kids to be able to walk to school, ride the bike to school? Are you driving them and therefore you're not going more than 10 minutes out of your way? Grocery stores are really big, shopping's big. Some people really want to be close walking distance from downtown Woodstock or Brookhaven and things like that, like the Dresden Street shops and restaurants. So that's very important to know, because when you put them on a search, don't send them the one that's 20 minutes away from anything like that, where they're definitely going to have to drive. And if it's on a main road with traffic, oof. And then lastly, I ask main road versus neighborhood. Most people really want to be tucked into a neighborhood. Most people don't want to be on that main road. Kids or no kids, pets or no pets, the resale value is a little bit harder when you're on that main road. So lots of good questions to ask. Do you have any others to add to this location list? What else would y'all ask your peeps? Any other location questions that y'all can think of? Yeah, I'm that good that I just thought of all of them. I doubt this. Take this document. It's in the group coaching Facebook group, and make it your own. Add whatever questions you want. So lastly, I get down to the house, and this is the part that they get the most excited about. So I kind of took them through some important questions first, and then I want to wrap it up with like the questions that get them really visualizing their new house and get them excited. So the first thing I say is, what style of home do you prefer? And there's all kinds of ways that they can answer this. So what kind of houses do y'all live in? I'm in a split level, not a split foyer, a split level. Know the difference.
I'm in a 2-story traditional.
Perfect. Are you brick?
Yes.
Okay, so you're a brick 2-story. Are you more like colonial style or craftsman?
Colonial.
Okay, perfect. I'm an all brick split level, because that's what there is in Tucker. Some people really want all brick. Some people like that cedar, the cedar shingle kind of look. Some people only want a ranch with a basement. Some people want a 2-story. It's very, very important that we figure out what style. I love Victorians. They don't really exist here. But that was my house in Florida. I didn't want anything but a Victorian. So yeah, don't even take me to see anything else. Really ask very specific questions. When they say, oh, traditional, great. What does that look like to you? Is that 1 story or 2? Is that brick or vinyl, or do you not have a preference? Secondary questions go a long way here. How many bedrooms? How many bathrooms? Oh, at least 2 bathrooms. Great. Now let me ask you, does that mean a bathroom in the master, a bathroom for the other bedrooms? Are you okay if your guests use that second bathroom, or do you need a half bath? Oh no, I think I would really like a half bath. Big difference between 2 and 2.5 bathrooms. Secondary questions, very, very important. Get specific. Parking. I have a 2-car carport. Maybe people want a garage. Maybe they don't care about parking as long as they don't have to be on the street. It can be a tandem, like right behind each other, just a driveway, and they're happy. Some people refuse to do the tandem. They have to have side by side. So all kinds of things. Doesn't need to be covered. Doesn't need to be enclosed. Doesn't need to be attached or detached. Lots of really good secondary questions there. Backyard. How big do you want it to be? I already mowed my lawn this morning. Thank goodness it only took me like 20, 25 minutes. Do you need a deck? Do you want a porch? Does it need to already be fenced in? Amazing questions to ask there. The one that I kind of get a little tripped up on whenever I'm searching on the multiple listing service is square footage. Because I know y'all have seen houses on the MLS where it says 0 square footage, which is really frustrating, because what that means is the agent did not take the time to confirm with the homeowner a prior appraisal, the tax record, what have you. They didn't take the time to look into it. And so when you're setting up a search for your buyers, if they say, oh, you know, we want 1,500 to 2,000 square foot, great. Don't put that in the multiple listing service. And the reason I say that is because so many people get the square footage wrong. A lot of people will add in the basement square footage, and that's not what your homeowners meant. A lot of people will just completely be wrong. I don't know where they get the numbers from, but it's not accurate. A lot of people put 0 in. So ask your buyers what type of square footage they want, and then recognize that that may not be something that you type into the MLS in their search. What kind of floor plan do you want? Everyone's going to say open. Well, what does that look like? Let's get really specific. Wonderful. Do you want a foyer or do you want to walk right into the main living room? Tiffany, you unmuted. Are you good? Oh, she's connecting to audio. A lot of people want to look from their kitchen into their living room, yet they want that separate dining room for family occasions and things like that. Be really specific on what they want. And it's also great to say, okay, what is a nice to have? What is a need to have? Two different things. I needed 2 parking spaces. It would be nice if it were a garage, but I needed 2 parking spaces. So I have a 2-car carport. Any questions so far? Cool. Extra rooms. Do I need an office? Do I need a bonus room? Do I need a gym? Etc. Do I want a sitting room off of the master that can be converted into a nursery when babies come? And then any additional needs for the house. Have I left anything out? What else would make this the perfect house for y'all? And then at the very end, I say to them, what are your 5 must-haves? Not 8, not 6, 5. Because those 5 are going to be the most important, where if we find a house with all 5, and I'm going to remember what these 5 are. When we go look at homes, when there's one with all 5, I'm going to say, great. Are we ready to put in an offer? I don't care what the price is. If the price is wrong, agents overprice things all the time. If we find something that checks all 5 boxes, are we putting in an offer on that house? Because you should. If there's 4 boxes of the 5 checked, you really should be pushing them to maybe put in an offer. Seldom do you get all 5 checked. What questions do y'all have? I'm going to stop sharing so that I can show y'all where on the Facebook group you can go to find all of these. Give me one sec. Oh, how do we keep? So, great question. David said, how do we get them to keep their word and attend our meeting in the first place? That's a great question, especially because I'm a coach that sometimes people do not keep their appointments for. So whenever you set an appointment, doesn't really matter how far in advance you set it, you always want to confirm the day before. So if I have an appointment at 9 a.m. the next morning, I'm texting them early afternoon. Hey, I'm really looking forward to speaking with you tomorrow. I just want to confirm. Don't say, are we still on for 9 a.m.? That almost gives them permission to say, no, let's change it. Because we're not changing it. I already put it on my schedule. So just confirming our appointment at 9 a.m. tomorrow. Really looking forward to meeting with you. That gives them a little bit more, oh, I really do have to do this. So let me share my screen again. I'll show you where in the Facebook group. So in the group, please join if y'all haven't. There's a files tab over here on the left. I do not know how to do it on your phone, just being honest. On the computer, you go to files, and then I've uploaded the buyer questionnaire that we just went over is right here. Erin Olivier, who was our guest speaker on the Monday class, has a really great one as well. And then Dory, I think this is Dory's that she loaded, oh my gosh, like 3.5 years ago. And then we're gonna go over now the transaction timeline. Let me just check my notes real quick, make sure I'm not leaving anything out. What questions do y'all have? Good. Oh, go ahead, David.
Yeah, so I literally spoke with them yesterday, coordinated the appointment for this morning at 10 o'clock.
Oh, that's right.
Yes, everything was great. So now I just called them, at 9:59, 9:50, just confirming that they received the Zoom virtual meeting. Like, yeah, send it to this email. Like, okay, sounds good. We hang up. I send it to their email. I'm in the meeting, the room, waiting for them to join.
Mm.
And I call them, and then ring, 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 ring to voicemail. Oh shit, they just said phone died, I'm in. Hold on. I think I'm having it anyway.
Bye, David. Have a great buyer consult.
Appreciate
Well, there you go. Okay, great. So last tip on that questionnaire is the more questions you ask and the more specific you get, the easier the rest of that transaction is going to go. We want clarity. Clarity is power. That's one of the bold laws. The more clear you are, the fewer homes you have to show them. And Erin Olivier had a really great tip. She said, you know, don't be surprised if we go see one or two and you like the first one that we see. Don't feel like, oh no, this can't be right. I do a really great questionnaire with y'all and I really get specific on what you're looking for, that a lot of times the first house we see is the one for you. We're not going to waste your time. And of course it's really wasting our time too, but we're not going to waste your time going around to look at houses that I know just aren't going to fit your needs. So that's how you can set yourself up for success, because I've had people say, oh, I really like this. We can't possibly like the first one that we see. And I'm like, oh, yes, you can. I didn't set it up as properly as Erin did. So that was a great setup for that. Okay, so the timeline. I'm going to share my screen again. And I really like this because it's a great visual one for your peeps that are visual. It's wonderful. Bye-bye. Buyer consult timeline. Share screen. Here we go. Okay, perfect. Can y'all see this thing with yellow and white boxes?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Okay, so the buyer, sorry, I want to be able to see everything. The home buying process. So you can check off the first one. Great, you're meeting me here for your buyer consultation. Awesome. You're pre-qualified by your lender. And this is why it's important to have them at least speak with a lender prior to this, because at least they have an idea of which 1, 2, or 3 lenders they may be going with if they haven't already been pre-qualified by one. But you can check that one off. Look how easily we're going through this timeline already. So next we're gonna go out and see homes that fit y'all's wish list. When we find one that we love, we're gonna make an offer. And on this box in the top right, the offer made on your favorite home, this is where I say to them, now, as you see, the next step is contract is accepted. That's gonna be such an awesome day. And yet I just want to set the expectation for y'all that it doesn't always go this quickly and this easily. There are going to be times where I feel like, to represent you best, we're not going to be making a full price offer if it is overpriced above market value. I'm going to protect your interest. Okay, we may have to negotiate back and forth a couple times with the listing agent, or if it's really well priced and in a great condition, of course you're going to want to make an offer. Other families are too. And we may be in a multiple offer situation where our offer is not accepted. So I want to set the expectation that this isn't always a fluid transition to that next box down. And yet it's my job to protect your interest and negotiate as best as I can on your behalf. I ask them if they have any questions about that. Maybe they don't know what multiple offer situation means. The entire time you're going through, check for clarity, check for comprehension. Make sure that they are understanding every part. Okay, great. Offer is accepted. Hooray. The next step is we are going to set up an inspection or multiple inspections depending on what you got going on with the house. And we're going to turn in that earnest money. Remember how I asked if you had 1% purchase price in a savings or checking account that you can put down as your earnest money? That will go towards the purchase price. However, that is going to be taken out of your account ahead of time. This is so that it's collateral for the seller to take the house off the market. What happens if the day before closing, we back out? Now you're entitled to do that, and yet you will lose your earnest money. So if this is a $300,000 house, that's $3,000 most likely that's gone. So I want to make sure that we understand the severity and make sure that you have that in your bank account. And then we go through due diligence. I let them know what kind of inspections they're going to be doing depending on what kind of house we find. You know, the inspection's probably going to be about $400, $450. And I want you to understand, if you would like to add on radon, that's typically $150 to $200. If there's a pool, a septic system, etc., that's going to be additional costs for the inspection. So besides that earnest money, there is going to be several $100s that comes out right away. And yet it's so imperative that we do that to protect your investment. And then I give them an example. When I was buying my Florida house, so the second house I ever bought, I did an inspection and found out there was mold in the master bedroom. Like the ceiling was, the roof wasn't done properly, so there was mold on the ceiling from the roof. The stairs weren't to code. There was, I think the back was in like a floodplain or something. I was like, not the one for me. We're okay. So I protected like $250,000 and I went with a different home. And then after that part, it's all pretty simple because this is really where the lender's going to take over from there. So we are going to have a loans class where we can go over what does that look like. That's coming July 6th or 20th. And then we're going to do an appraisal class as well on July 6th so that y'all can really speak a little bit more educatedly to these steps. Alessia, did you have a question? I know that you.
No, that would be great. That lender class.
Oh, good. Okay, good. So the, let me see. The inspections class is going to be the 6th of July, I'm pretty sure. And that will be at 1 o'clock. We're going to have Jason from Trademark going over the deal killers. What items are really major on an inspection report, what items a little bit more minor, and then I'll go over how to write an amendment to address concerns and what verbiage to use and what are realistic terms to ask for. And then on Monday the 20th, also at 1 p.m. is the financials and loans class. So, okay, perfect. I'm going to stop sharing. What questions do we have so far? So at this point in the buyer consult, we've gone over the questionnaire. We've gone over the buyer timeline. Next, because it kind of brought the energy back down, right, with the timeline. So I want to get the energy back up. So the next thing I do is I pull up in the conference room, or if I'm like at a Starbucks or something on my computer, I pull up on the screen the multiple listing service. I type in their search. So maybe they're looking for 3 or more bedrooms. So in the bedroom count, 3+. Maybe they're looking for 250 to 275. So I write 250 to 275,000 in the price. I go to the map. I use the little tool to draw out where they want, or if they want a very specific school district, I'll type that in the elementary, middle, or high school. I'll bring up the map. The green dots, those are the houses that are available. So if we don't see a whole lot of green dots, or if we don't see any green dots, the first thing I'm going to do is make sure, did I fill that out properly? Because maybe I messed up. The second thing I'm going to do is say, in this price range, in this geographic range, with the other criteria like the number of bedrooms, etc., we're really not seeing a whole lot of inventory. My fear is that what we're really looking for is a little bit higher than that 250 to 275 price range. So what I'll do is I'll bump it up to 300, and then you'll see a whole lot more come up. So I'll have a very candid conversation with them. Let me ask you, can we push the budget, or is this where we're max in terms of comfortable, or in terms of what the lender's going to let us do? And that is where I can really start to overcome the, well, I want to go look at something that's higher than what I'm pre-approved for. No, we're not doing that. Because too many things are going multiple offer situation right now. We're not looking at stuff that's over our price range, especially if you're going to ask for, closing costs to be paid for by the seller. So then I'll show them how to set up a buyer portal. Do y'all know how to set up a buyer portal where it's the auto email to the buyers?
No.
Okay, perfect. So let me, I'm going to screen share with y'all again. Okay, so can you see my matrix? Good. Okay, so I've typed in the search. Let's say that they're looking for a single family detached. I want to see what's coming soon as well as what's active. I want 3 or more bedrooms and 2 or more bathrooms, and I want to be 275 to 300. Let's say they want to be my neighbor and they want to be over here by me and Tucker. So what I'm going to do, great news. Lots of good options to be my neighbor. So I'm going to draw out, I'm going to say to them, blah, blah, blah. Okay, here we go. How does that make you feel? And they're going to say, oh, well, we can go a little bit closer to Lilburn, or we want to be closer to 285, kind of change it up from there. If they're happy with this, awesome. So what I'll do is I go to save and new auto email. I'll create a new contact. It requires their first name, the last name, and the email. So create a contact, first name, last name, email. Subject, homes for Katie, or whatever their name is. Okay, and then at the bottom, how often do they want these homes? So if this is someone that is not buying for several months because of a lease, because of whatever, then I'm probably going to put them on 2 days a week. So Tuesday in the evening and Friday in the evening, they're going to get all the homes sent to them that have come up during that chunk of time. I choose Friday evenings because if it gets listed Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I want them to see all of those. If I do Thursday evening, then they don't see the ones that got listed Friday. Does that make sense? So I always personally, I do Tuesday and Friday. That's what I do. If they are nurture. If they're kind of ready to go and they can start seeing homes now because they want to close in like August, well, guess what? You're getting them every day. And it doesn't mean that you're getting an email every single day. It means if there's a day that at least one house came on the market or had a price decrease, you're going to get an email that day. Sunday, there's not a whole lot of houses that come on the market, so you're probably not getting anything Sunday. So there you go. And then you click save. Now, they're going to get a welcome email. Typically takes about 15 minutes. So I set them up right then and there on that auto email, that portal, because I want to make sure by the time they walk out of the office, they've gotten the client portal welcome email. They have to open it up and they have to click on the link inside of it to view all the homes available. That initiates the search. So from then on out, that's when they'll get the search. They can't just open the email. They have to open the email and click the link inside. And a lot of people don't click the link inside, and so then they won't be getting the emails. So you want to make sure that by the end of the time they're walking out, they have received it, they've opened it, you've watched them click it, boom, it's been initiated. Great. And then, sorry, I'm going to screen share one more time. And then on your home page of the FMLS, recent portal visitors. So these are all of my peeps that are set up on portal searches. So like, this is my friend. He looked at it 2.5 hours ago. This is a young lady where it's a little bit more of a nurture. I think they get them every day. She checked it out yesterday. So I can see how often people are looking at their portal, and then I can see if they've hearted things. So for example, I click on the heart, she really likes Dixie Lee Lane in Stone Mountain. They have the ability to leave comments as well in this portal, so you can see which ones they love. You can see which ones they write comments on, and maybe say, I like this except for this. It really helps kind of like engage between the two of y'all and figure out exactly what they're looking for. So there you go. Let's see. Next. Oh, then what I'll do is I'll go over the first page of the purchase and sale contract. And what that looks like is I want them to know on the first page, that's where all the really important information is. Of course, the special stipulations are on page 7 or something. But on that first page, that's where we're going to have purchase price, the closing cost, closing date, earnest money, who holds the earnest money, the closing attorney, due diligence period, all this. I want them to know what each field means, what are kind of standard things to put in there, 10-day due diligence, things like that. So that whenever you do write an offer for them, that's not the first time they're seeing this contract. I want them to be able to ask any questions then, because it's already kind of hectic when we're writing an offer. So while we're slower, while we're not as busy and less emotional, let's get the questions out about the purchase and sale contract. Does that make sense? Let me see here. Oh, and then I just do my expectations talk with them, and I go over the BBA. So I'm going to sign into Dotloop so that we can go over what that BBA looks like. Now, I'm going to be so transparent with y'all. Best practice is get that BBA signed before you get someone in your car. Okay, so best practice. I will be fully transparent. I do not always get this signed before I put them in the car because I personally don't want to work with every single person. We are so blessed to be able to pick and choose the clients that we represent. And there are some people who are not worth your energy and not worth your time. And I want y'all to know that your time is valuable. And as great as it is to have a sale, it's also great to have clients that appreciate you and are worth your time and are nice to you. So sometimes if you don't know someone well enough, you may want to do a trial period. Maybe you go show 1 or 2 houses and see, are these people I'm even going to want to work with? Okay, so best practice, get the BBA signed at the buyer consultation. So what that looks like is, let me share my screen. We'll go over it and then I'll email it to them. So I say, okay, and this is the best way to lob this up, is say, I want to make a promise to y'all. I promise that I'm going to be giving you my time, my energy. I'm going to negotiate on your behalf. I'm going to make sure that you see the homes that you want to see. I'm going to make sure that we get you to the closing table and in your dream home. And all I ask in return is that you promise me that I'm your agent that you're working with. And what that looks like formally would be this buyer brokerage agreement. And then I'll point to this part. State law prohibits me from representing you as a client without first entering a written agreement. So y'all, I have to have this signed before I'm even allowed to put in an offer for you. So that right there takes the pressure off of you. It literally just says state law prohibits me from representing you without a written agreement. So here's the written agreement. So you'll say, we're entering an agreement where I represent y'all and y'all are agreeing to work with me. Put whatever dates you want in here. This is going to be today, the beginning date. And some people do 3 months, 6 months. I think it depends on their timeline. Some people put a year. Put whatever you want. I would say at least 6 months. Number 3, we're independent contractors. So that one, you have to click. 4, we do not do sub and dual. So those are the 2 you check there. And then you get down to 5, commissions. So check 3%. Now, again, full transparency, best practice is the buyer shall pay the difference. If a listing agent is only advertising on the multiple listing service that they're giving 2.5% to the buyer's agent, it's your business. And yet the best practice is let's get that full 3. Now, I will say there are some agents in the office, and I do like how they go about this. They say to the buyers, this is really their value add, because real estate is lifelong. We do not just want people for this first transaction. That's, you know how hard it's going to be for the rest of your real estate career to just keep going finding people for one transaction. You want them to refer their friends. You want them to do repeat business with you. Sell this house in 5 years and buy another one. That's 3 transactions in 5 years with one set of clients. They can give you their best friend in the meantime. That's already happened to me in 3 months. So this is what some agents do as their value add. They say, look, I'm going to check this shall not pay broker the difference. And the reason I'm doing that is because I want you to be my clients for life. If there's someone that's only offering 2.5 or 2.75% percent fee for my commission, that's something that I'm willing to do if that's the right house for you. That's more important to me than that extra 0.5%. You're already putting down a lot of money for your down payment and your closing costs. So I just want to be upfront when I explain to you why I checked shall not pay. Now, what happens if you show a house that says $1? Because those exist out there, unfortunately, and those are listing agents that are just muffin heads. So understand that you need to protect yourself because your time is valuable. And there was a lady agent from another office that just put in the Rawls group page. She said, I can't believe I'm writing an offer right now for $0 commission. I mean, it literally advertised 0% commission, and the listing agent said, get your buyers to pay it. Like, come on, y'all. So it's your business. There's the best practice, and there's an alternative mindset as well. Number 6 is if you're doing a lease. I've never filled that out, just to be honest with you. And number 7, some people do 30 days, 60, 90, 120. It's whatever you want. That says if this is terminated, and they can terminate at any time, tell them, look, if y'all decide you don't want to work with me, rip this up. We'll part ways, and that's fine. I want to make sure, you know, in the largest purchase of your life and the most important decision in your life, besides marriage and stuff, that y'all are comfortable and happy. So if we no longer want to work together, don't worry. And yet, if you showed them a home while you had this signed and they go under contract with it during that 30-day protected period, then you still get the commission. So protect yourself. I put 30. I know a lot of people that put up to 120, whatever y'all want. And then you have them sign. So it's pretty easy whenever you reference this state law prohibits broker from representing buyer without first entering a written agreement. Now, technically, I think that kind of means more the negotiations of the offer process. And yet we can spin that to mean representing when we first show properties. So there's lots of ways to kind of get the weirdo juju feel of getting the BBA signed off of our backs and kind of put it on, hey, Georgia requires me. So if that's an easier way to have that conversation, then that's an easier way to have that conversation. So what questions do y'all have? How can I be helpful? And then I'll do a quick recap of the steps. There's no questions. Are y'all even still here? Y'all just turned on your computer and walked away from the computer, didn't you?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so Alessio is still at his computer. He's the only one I trust. I appreciate you. So, okay. First step, make the appointment. Second step, get them in touch with the lender. Even if that means you have the lender call them. I don't care. At least have the lender have a conversation with them, even if they don't pull credit and do an application. Step 3, in the appointment, go over the questionnaire. Go over the timeline. Set them up on a portal. Get the BBA signed. I made a checklist yesterday. I'm going to share my screen one more time because, oh, I don't think I have it open. I think it's really good. It's called buyer, what did I call it? It's for once your buyer's under contract. I called it buyer under contract checklist. So I'm going to share my screen and just show that to y'all real quick. If you have to go, I totally understand. I just would feel really good with y'all knowing. What did you do? Buyer under, here we go. Okay, so once you do get under contract, I have step-by-step of what to do. So alert all parties, schedule the inspections, turn in the earnest money, update the status in command, amendment to address concerns, check in on financing. So there's all the steps that I could possibly think of here. Of course, it's a lot easier when you hire a transaction coordinator. And yet this is for whether or not you have a transaction coordinator. These are all the steps. Make sure that you do these. They're not perfectly in this order, and yet this is the order that I do them in.
Katie, this is wonderful. Are you going to put this on the Facebook group page too? I love
I'm going
it.
to put this on the Facebook group. Yeah, I made it because someone asked me yesterday, and I was like, you know what? Did you ask me this, Beth?
I have asked for things like this kind of, I don't know if I did it specifically, but this is exactly what I've been looking for. And on listing site too, like this. Yes.
Yes. So fun fact, one of the other, we're doing, so you have a listing now what on Monday, July 20th. And I have the exact same thing. I've already made it, so I can email that to you if you want. But yeah, this one I felt was really important because when you represent the buyer, the ball is so much more in your court to get stuff done in a timely manner. And so I really felt like it was important. So I made this yesterday. I'm going to put it in the Facebook group for y'all to reference.
I wish I had this a year ago.
Oh, sorry.
No, I'm just saying this is great information. No, I'm just saying this is exactly what I've been kind of asking for. So thank you.
Good. Yes, you're so welcome. That, and I'm going to be honest with you. I really want to teach resourcefulness. And so I'm more than happy to give you the resources and then y'all take it from there. You know what I mean? I don't want you all to feel powerless where you have to call to get something answered. I just want to give you the resources and then y'all, take it from there kind of thing, just from a timely manner and stuff like that. So cool. I'm going to put that into the group right now, so the buyer thingy. What can I do for y'all? You good? Because Mama's going to go kayaking.
Again?
Have fun.
Yes, thank you. That's why I live 15 minutes from Snow Mountain.
Oh,
My
wow.
daughter just started doing that and she loves it.
It's awesome. It's a good arm workout. So there you go. Right. Y'all are amazing. Go forth and prosper. Have a great weekend. I'm going to put that buyer checklist in the Facebook group right now.
Thank you, Katie.
Thank you, Katie. I actually just have one actually kind of personal question, Katie.
Yeah.
When should I get that email from McMenemy as far as the closing confirmation? Should it be Monday? Because I mean, I did speak to them yet.
I'm going to put in the chat.
Yeah.
Cameron L at MMH.
I mean, because I spoke to them yesterday and they went ahead and confirmed to schedule it for Tuesday at 9. I was just expecting an email that they would send out to me and the selling agent.
They may not have your right email. If you haven't been getting emails from them, because that's like really
I have.
Okay. Let me make sure. Yep. Okay. What I typed in the group chat is correct. So that's Cameron Lossing's email. She's a pre-closer. The next person is Jill. And of course, this is for the Buckhead location. Let me make sure I have Jill V at MMH Firm. Okay, perfect. So Cameron and Jill at MMH Firm. Yeah, Cameron L, Jill V at mmhfirm.com. Those are going to be the peeps for you to check in with. And I would just say, hey ladies, I just wanted to confirm our time. Is there anything else that you need from me or the lender at this point for closing? And just check in and get a status update.
Okay.
Cool.
Sounds good.
You guys rock. Have a great rest of your weekend. And thanks for being awesome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Toodles.
Enjoy.
Thanks. You too.
Bye-bye.